Hi everyone, and welcome to today's session on sponsoring Agile project management. I'm Rasha Akkar, Social Media Leader at Excellence, and today I've got with me Alan Thompson, who is our PPM Product Ambassador. Before we kick off, just a few housekeeping notes. The session is recorded, and you will get sent a link to the recording. So if you want to listen to it again, or if you want to share it with any of your colleagues, please do. At the bottom of your screen, you will see a resources tab. In there, you'll find today's slide deck. You'll also find the link to a white paper that Alan wrote. And you'll also find links to our PPM benchmarking survey and our Power of Certification survey. Alan will be referring to these throughout his presentation, so they're just good to have a look through. The session will be about 40 minutes presentation, and we'll leave time at the end for questions. If you have any questions, please leave them in the Q&A chat box, and we'll get to them at the end. We also have a feedback survey, so if you can just spare 2 minutes to fill it in, that would be great. And I'm just going to hand over to Alan now.
Thank you, Rasha. Thank you for that excellent introduction. And hello, everyone. So before we get started, a little bit about me. Before I joined British Gas in 2000, I was involved with the automotive industry, and there I became exposed to Kaizen, lean design, Kanban processes, etc., with Nissan and Toyota. At Toyota, again, the award of lean design practitioner. So all in all, agile ways of working have actually followed me throughout my project management and process design career. I've over 25 years project and program experience for using the best practice methods in a variety of industries. I took the role at Axelos since I believe the best practice supports both the PPM function and the organisation as a whole. I also wanted the opportunity to feed back my considerable experience back into the generation of best practice. So enough about me. Who is Axelos? For those of you who don't know, we are a joint venture between Capita PLC and the UK Cabinet Office. The list of products on the right-hand side produce over 1 million practitioners in over 150 countries. We've launched Resilient in 2015, our cyber resilience product. Also launched Prince2 Agile in 2015. Introduced a membership scheme, my Axelos in 2015. Updated Prince2 to the 6th edition as it currently stands, which was the first update of a core guidance. Agile Shift in 2018, and the focus this year has been the ITIL 4 suite, where ITIL now has entered into the fourth industrial revolution, with Foundation in February 2019, and in ITIL Managing Professional Transition module in November this year. So that's a list of the products that we have on the right-hand side, and what we're doing as producing best practice updates as an organisation. But it's important to note what Axelos products actually do. So in essence, what we do is we provide products to individuals and organisations that basically help them transform their businesses. So, and this is supported by the presence of case studies and testimonials, and also it's about transforming and keeping the businesses competitive. And we do that through the generation of best practice guides, which are basically up-to-date, up-to-date updates from the ecosystem to make sure that the books actually are still relevant. So we distill from real-world experience and developing practices. And I have to state that collaboration is written through the heart of everything that Axelos does. And only by collaborating effectively with our ecosystem and having robust ecosystem reviews and updates do we maintain the condition of our best practice guides, which are so important to the end users and the organisations themselves. As Rasha mentioned, basically we have produced a couple of reports which are really useful for you to refer to. The one mentioned here linked to this particular part of what we do within Axelos is the Power of Certification report, which shows the research supports our view that the certifications endorsed by Axelos provide individuals with the confidence to be knowledgeable professionals in the area of expertise, but it also empowers them to succeed in what they want to do with their particular chosen career. But it's important to have a look at that report as well. A bit more about our products themselves. Their methods and frameworks. They're not bodies of knowledge like APM-BOK or PMBOK from PMI. They're practical, not theoretical. Not a proprietary opinion-based silver bullet solution. Common language with concepts to equal consistency. And from consistency, it enables organizations to gain maturity in project management and resource mobility. So it's aimed at the team, not individual. So basically, the organization benefits from it. As I said before, it's an evolution, not a revolution with our products, and they continuously improve, and we maintain their relevancy accordingly. And the basis for an exam and qualification scheme, and the Power of Certification report will show the power of why we do that. So that's a description of what the Axelos product, or who Axelos are, and what the products do. Let us now discuss sponsoring Agile adoption in your organization to manage your projects, and the challenges and opportunities that that can bring. So, as a project sponsor, the first question you have to ask is, why do I need to change my organization? Today, all organizations, no matter their size or sector, feel the effects of a constantly changing business environment. This has been driven by growing globalization, accelerated advances in technology, we're talking here about apps and blockchain, etc., dynamic and volatile markets, ever-increasing customer expectations. It's becoming the era of the 24/7 customer. It's vitally important that organizations and the project sponsors within them recognize the need to change and to learn to react and adapt quickly to the changes in the market and environment. It's so important to do so. So, why is Agile important in a project management context? In 2017, we recorded that Agile was being used as a trendy buzzword for lack of proper management. It's good to be able to report today that Agile is no longer a trendy buzzword for lack of management. Coupled with a robust governance structure, this can provide value to the organization through efficient delivery of product. From an Axelos perspective, Prince2 Agile is not just a framework, but includes behaviors, concepts, areas of focus, and tools and techniques, all working together at the same time. And this perspective has also been demonstrated in the new product, Agile Shift. But in Prince2 Agile, all these behaviors have to work at the same time. And it's so important for a project sponsor to understand this mechanism. From my experience of Agile, one of the major areas of improvement that I have seen is the frequent releases of value to senior stakeholders from the organization. And this basically attempts to sum up the benefits of using Agile done properly. So, benefits of Agile enables early delivery of benefits to the customer through customer involvement, allows for feedback through demonstration with customers, allows improved internal processing through team retrospectives where improvements are made. So at the same time, you improve the efficiency of your internal teams, you improve the customer experience, and you get value into your organization earlier. Because of the customer involvement, it's likely to reduce risk as well. Gives confidence to stakeholders through visibility and evidence of the product being developed. They actually see what they are going to get for their money. as one person told me. Fosters engagement with project stakeholders. Rather than sending them checkpoint reports or highlight reports, you're actually engaging with them, showing them actual product. And it makes releasing easier and perhaps second nature, because you're releasing product to the live system or the live environment or the live market a little piece at a time. So you're avoiding the necessity to have a big bang approach or one large deployment at the end, with all the associated risks that entails. So all in all, basically, frequent releases of value and improvements both to the organization are one of the key benefits that working with Agile and project environment brings to the organization. So let us examine Agile ways of working and business success. Agile ways of working have been associated with a positive impact on business success through internally improved collaboration between teams, improved transparency of working between teams, improved communication between teams, and from our 2019 benchmark report, communication is still one of the major issues for project failure, running currently at 35%. Improved trust between teams is so important to have that. Reduce risk, increase self-organization in teams to get the job done. It empowers teams to actually get the job done as well. Increased exploration within teams to address issues as they are raised. So all in all, it produces an increasing confidence in the way the teams actually work. And more importantly, externally, increase customer satisfaction through effective customer involvement. As Rasha mentioned at the start, I'm going to be probably referring to the 2019 PPM benchmark report quite a bit through the presentation. And this is an extract from it, which basically supports the previous slide. And it's quite impressive that there's an external factor, increased customer satisfaction, is the highest benefit, which is external. So, given the business benefits, project sponsors need to be aware of the benefits, and it should come as no surprise that there's an increasing appetite for adopting Agile techniques, both in project management and across the wider organisation. With some organisations stating that Agile ways of working are just the right way that organisations should operate. And I have to stress again, it's interesting to note that the top benefit was external to the organisation, since it requires customer involvement to achieve it. So, also within the survey, we looked at how well equipped organisations feel to actually be able to work in an Agile way. From the research that we carried out this year, only around half the companies are actually adopting Agile ways of working. 56% said that their project management team is becoming more Agile, and 52% said the same for their organisations as a whole. So there's a synergy between the two. There will be, of course, industries where Agile is less appropriate. Yet, for every organisation who claims to be working in a more Agile way, there's another not embracing Agile ways of working whatsoever. Among those who don't believe their project management work is successful, the percentage drops to 40%. It raises the question, why is Agile not more commonplace when it is a proven benefit for successful PPM teams? The primary issue appears to be that project managers are not given the tools and structure to work in an Agile way by the wider organisation. Only 12%, as you can see in the slide, which is the small blue bubble, said that they felt very well equipped when it comes to support processes and expectations. In my opinion, that leaves an 88% deficit. We have seen the progress of the perception of Agile from buzzword to beneficial in recent years. However, there is another step to be taken before Agile is accepted throughout the organisation, and that involves the process of embedding. It is important that the wider organisation, and the wider organisation being led by sponsors and senior management, to do more than just say they want their teams to work in a more agile way. There must be support to enact this. So best practice needs to be agreed with the organisation to ensure staff are empowered to work using agile methods. All existing processes currently in place which hamper agile ways of working, for example, over-laborious sign-off procedures and structures and procurement, need to be reviewed to ensure they are compatible with the new way of working. So in essence, what you're looking at is a full-scale organisational change as the end result. For this to work, it is vital to develop a good working relationship with senior management and lobby the importance of agile working. If it's not a priority within senior management already, it needs to be in the future. If we look at ensuring agility, successful teams are likely to work in an agile way. The primary barrier preventing more teams adopting agile is the lack of support and understanding from the wider organisation. This also has to change. So we have actually set the scene why Agile is important to your organisation and how the organisation needs to respond. We now need to consider what does the sponsor do and why are they important. The executive or sponsor owns a project. It is important to note that the executive and sponsor are the same if the project is adopting Prince2 Agile. Project sponsor stroke executive is the focus of accountability for the project and accordingly retains the ultimate decision-making authority within the project board, whose role is to direct the project. And the project board, as we all know, is not a democracy, it's a decision-making forum chaired by the project executive. The sponsor represents the interests of the business. In the project board, the sponsor is supported by the senior supplier and the senior user. In an agile environment, the sponsor needs to be familiar with the term value, as this will be used frequently by the project management and delivery teams, since Agile produces value earlier to the organisation. The Prince2 Agile glossary term for value is the benefits delivered in proportion to the resources put into acquiring them. The term is often used interchangeably with the word benefits, and although they are similar in how they can be used, they are not identical. You have to refer to our management of value best practice guidance for more information. And in that particular chapter within Prince2 Agile guidance, we refer you to consult with management of value, or MOV as we call it. So, how does a sponsor start? How do I adopt Agile into my organisation to manage my projects, since I'm now aware of the benefits of doing so? As a sponsor, it is important to define a clear vision of the future that you want or the direction you want to take. It will be a journey of small steps and will not happen overnight. No matter how small or large your organisation, it will take time to adopt the method. And it's important that stakeholders, both internal and external, need to be aware of this context. It's not going to happen in a day. In this context, stakeholder engagement is critical. So what does a sponsor need to understand? As a sponsor, you need to understand where you are, and for this, document what you know, including the views of stakeholders from across the organisation regarding their attitude towards agile ways of working, which will change over a period of time, where you want to be, and how agile will get you there. Prince2 Agile provides greater control over investment decisions at particular project startup and closure. And from our research, this is where projects can either go wrong or be a success at startup and closure. And that hence the emphasis in that particular process. How your market is changing. A key focus for Agile is a better responsiveness to changing customer requirements. This is what we call fix and flex of the customer requirements, where time and cost are fixed. Which problems are you trying to solve? These need to be prioritized. So you need to classify ones which need immediate resolution and the ones you are solving in the long term. Prince2 Agile provides a stronger alignment across all projects within an organization due to its Prince2 content and governance. You need to understand how your organization reacts to change. And if this involves the adoption of a program framework such as Managing Successful Programs or an enterprise agility framework such as Agile Shift. But more than that, it's the mindset of the organization. Some organizations see change as an opportunity. Some organizations see it as a threat. The governance provided by Prince2 Agile mitigates the possibility of viral or fragile Agile taking place, which are some of the side effects of poorly implemented Agile, which can seriously damage an organization. So, your journey Agile journey as a sponsor. How will that proceed? First of all, you've got to know your project environment. The first step as an Agile sponsor is understanding your organization's current position in relation to project practices, both internally and externally. And also, you need to take in consideration your organization's attitude to project work and Agile in general. It's advisable to undertake an Agilometer assessment, a key focus area within Prince2 Agile, to assess the Agile environment. For impartiality, it is advisable that the Project Management Office or Centre of Excellence conducts this assessment. On this slide, this is the representation from the Prince2 Agile book of the Agilometer. It's important to note that each slider is independent of each other, with a figure being generated for each category, with 5 being high, i.e. a high favour of Agile, and 1 being low, which is a low favour of Agile within the organisation. So we look at flexibility of what is delivered and give a score of 1 to 5, level of collaboration, ease of communication, ability to work iteratively and deliver incrementally, advantageous environmental conditions, and acceptance of Agile. It's important to note that each slide of score is independent. You must not average the score. What it is an ongoing measurement assessment of how suitable your Agile is for your organization. And it's important to note here, because the way the slider has been designed, Agile, Prince2 Agile is not a binary condition. It's not you either have Prince2 or you have Agile. It's a spectrum. And this is what the Agilometer attempts to portray, how much agility is required in your organization. As we move forward, you have to be prepared. Sorry about that, slides jumped again. But you'll be able to see the slide when you access the information. You've got to be prepared. Make sure there's an agreed set of benefits you're trying to achieve, and that there is someone in your organization with enough authority to champion the changes required to achieve the benefits. And it's important that someone has this authority and understanding. You should also recognize that introducing new ways of working will increase risk in delivery until new ways become established. It's not going to happen overnight. You need to basically take time to make it work. And this may mean that the organisation cannot undertake as many projects during the establishment of these agile ways of working. But once established, they will deliver benefits faster than the original proposals. As a result of this expectation, it's advisable to communicate these effects early and clearly to interested and affected stakeholders. It's important that they have this information. As you can see in the next slide, as a sponsor, you need to see this change as any other business change. And it's important that you follow a particular rigor that you currently endorse within your role as a sponsor or senior manager in your organisation. So that means planning, using management stages to evaluate the progress and mitigate the risk. So breaking things down into smaller chunks will always reduce the risks. Culture, there needs to be a change in organisational culture, a very challenging requirement which needs to be driven by the CEO and their team. Evolution with small increments, that understanding that the solution may evolve, and this will come with continual customer involvement. A change in leadership style which focuses more on the team, such as servant leadership. This seems a contradiction in terms, but what it means is remaining focused on achieving the project objectives, but at the same time taking into consideration the needs of the team who are delivering the products. The involvement of the PMO or CEO, they will provide independent assurance to senior management, but also they can provide experienced resources if required. Keep on track to your destination. Sorry about that, that's specific. So, keep on track to your destination. The steps coming up will basically help you find your way. So, as a sponsor, the following steps will help you to get to your destination. Initially, target adoption. And this basically, initially target adoption in a part of your organisation and expand to other parts. And what I would say here is pick a safe place to start, where the confidence level of success is high. Use pilots to build stakeholder confidence by demonstrating quick delivery of value. Build on the successes and learn from the experiences and failures, if applicable, gained during the pilots, and implement these lessons into improving the processes to ensure an effective deployment to the rest of the organisation on a stage-by-stage basis. Be the Agile champion. As a sponsor, be the Agile champion in your organisation, providing pilot updates at company briefings and town halls to increase stakeholder engagement and provide Agile visibility. Review progress, and you must review progress against a set agreed benefits that you had signed off before the start of your journey. So, how is your Agile journey progressing? As a sponsor, you want assurance that your journey is progressing well. There are some key questions that should be asked to ascertain this. And the slide that you see here, I will explain that in more detail when I've gone through the questions that, as a sponsor, you need to understand in your organisation. Is this a successful collaboration between the teams? That's important to monitor that, because if teams are not collaborating, then there's a major issue about productivity in the organisation. Is there transparency between teams? Is communication effective? Are people sending emails all the time, and is the emails stifling the creativity of the team? Is a rich communication environment in place? In this instance, is the right channel being used for conveying a message at the right time to key stakeholders or interested parties? Is it easy to see if a project is under control? Are people thinking Agile? Are product services deliveries happening frequently? Are teams self-organizing? Are customers fully engaged? Are projects delivering benefits early in their life cycle as expected? Is planning, and this is an important aspect, a team-based activity? Do teams use exploration techniques to resolve issues which occur? So the list of questions, that is just a sample. There could be more and more questions that an organisation or as a sponsor you can build in. You can also use the health check, which actually is in the Prince2 Agile book as well, to help formulate your answers. By answering these questions, what we can actually do, and this is suggested in Prince2 Agile, the answers to these questions are represented in a simple traffic light report or dashboard. And this can be owned by the project manager and the project sponsor so that they can have a view of how well the project is being implemented. So, in the dashboard, a classification of the traffic light dashboard could be described as follows. Position 1, red, which is basically less than 25%, which would be the low value. This would usually trigger an exception happening in the project. 2, which is basically an amber category. These would need attention as it will be causing some damage to the project. But the project has not gone into exception, as in the red category. And 3, although these are green, they would still need to be monitored on a regular basis. So this is a quick and easy way of representing how well teams are working, how well Agile has been delivered in your organisation. And it can be tailored by the organisation themselves based on the level of implementation being done. But read more about it in your Prince2 Agile manual. It's important to note here that we've talked about sponsorship, we've talked about project management, how important that is, but equally important is the effect of project boards in your organisation, and particularly when you are dealing with Agile deployments and deliveries, where project boards need to be able to respond quicker and in a more timely fashion. Projects need to be run by effective project boards, and for that reason we have published a directing guide for Prince2, which also is applicable to Prince2 Agile. It is the essential guide for project boards to use, and basically the directing guide in Prince2 and Prince2 Agile dovetail with this directing guide. And it's important to note that it is not a methodology, it is a framework that can be used at any time in the project lifecycle. And it follows the directing process within Prince2. Project boards are vital for effective project management to take place. I would just like to stress here that we have a white paper and also a presentation regarding directing projects, and it's important for you to look at that collateral as well. So project boards are vital for effective project management to take place. If they do not operate well, then projects will fail. The project board and project management activities need to be in balance. For this reason, we need to answer the following questions. And these are important for our sponsor to know and to have the answer. Are project boards using a framework, for example, the directing guide, to direct project management teams? Are project boards empowering the teams, or are they basically using micromanagement approaches? Are project boards adopting a servant leadership approach to the project manager and the project management team? Is a team ethos of we endorsed rather than I? Has an Agileometer assessment been carried out but more importantly than that, has an agileometer assessment been carried out throughout the project lifecycle? For example, at each stage boundary parts of the process. Have the prioritised customer requirements been captured correctly, and have they been agreed and signed off by senior management? It is critical to state that project boards and project management activities need to run in tandem for the projects to be delivered. So we've talked about what the sponsor needs to do. I'd just like to quickly have mention some key factors about Prince2 Agile and how it will help you along your sponsor journey. So it's a quick overview of the product and how it's going to get us where we want to be. The key elements of Prince2 Agile. Prince2 Agile, just to be really clear here, is an extension of Prince2. It provides guidance on how to configure and tailor Prince2 to operate in an Agile context. It is not here to replace Prince2. In some situations, it may not be possible to go fully Agile, but there is nothing in Prince2 that prevents it working well with Agile. And as we've seen in the Agileometer, in Prince2 Agile, the adoption of Agile is not binary, it's a spectrum of adoption based on the acceptance of the organization itself. Prince2 and Agile each have their own strengths, and when combined, they complement each other and create a holistic approach to managing projects in an Agile way. Prince2 gives solid management information and clarity regarding projects. Agile gives the means to deliver flexibility with a lot of business engagement. Prince2 Agile includes both elements: the governance of Prince2, the delivery framework of Agile, and the robust interface between the two. So, how will Prince2, as a sponsor, you need to know, how will Prince2 Agile benefit my organization? Prince2 Agile provides, and this is how the book was actually designed, provides an organization to be on time and hit deadlines, project the level of quality delivered, embrace change since it's going to happen anyway, keep teams stable, accept that the customer does not need everything, because the customer doesn't. According to our 2019 PPM benchmark report, organizations want more for less. To deliver a quality service that meets the needs of and demands of customers today, organizations need to be able to work in a rapid and creative way, surpassing expectations. Just meeting customer expectations is not enough. They need to be agile, and that means not just adopting an agile framework like Scrum, but also add the agile behaviors that go with it, the concepts, the tools and techniques, and all these factors being combined in one particular methodology. Organizations need to do this in order to survive and thrive in an ever-increasing competitive environment where they must deliver value earlier. So what other benefits does Prince2 Agile provide? It helps organizations at any point in their Agile journey. Increases an organization's ability to apply Agile because it brings in structure, provides detailed guidance. More importantly, it allows an organization to build upon the existing Prince2 best practice, if they're using it, to incorporate all the benefits that Agile delivery brings to some projects. Helps protect the level of quality whilst being responsive to the needs of customers, because things can change. builds on the existing strengths of Prince2, which are, because Prince2 is generic, it can be scaled, and it can be applicable to a multitude of industries. It empowers teams through greater degrees of collaboration and transparency, which is so important. Helps control costs and time by fixing them during product delivery. By fixing tolerance, it makes variance. By fixing tolerance, it makes variance much more visible and allows us to deliver effectively without cost and time overruns. Prince2 Agile provides organizations with what they need to flourish in today's business environment in the form of the following: early learnings, reduced risk, and faster delivery of benefits. In Prince2 Agile, by breaking down a complex problem into smaller chunks, it is quicker to get customer feedback and therefore stay on track. When items are smaller, they progress faster, and it is easier to make many smaller adjustments, which provide stakeholders with confidence in what is being delivered for their level of investment. So it produces lots of benefits that the organization can exploit. I would just like to conclude with the following. Adoption of Agile into your organization is a journey, and it is best to take small steps along your chosen path. Constantly monitoring your progress, constantly learning from experience, and building this experience into improving what you do. The sponsor needs to know what the chosen Agile method entails and what benefits it can deliver. For this, the sponsor can use pilots of Agile within the organization to increase stakeholder confidence prior to full rollout across the organization. For Prince2 Agile, it is not uncommon to assume that bringing more governance into an Agile domain could stifle the creativity and benefits of Agile working. When you think of this, you need to be aware of prejudice. Prince2 Agile represents a partnership that is based on the view that good governance allows Agile to be used in project environments that are complex, involving multiple teams. You would think including governance into Agile would stifle the creativity. In Prince2 Agile, it does not. Prince2 Agile gives guidance to help you check the suitability of your project environment for using Agile, as we have mentioned, the Agileometer. It allows you to be on time and hit deadlines while protecting a level of quality by fixing and flexing what is required based on prioritized customer requirements. One final thing to take away: if you have already adopted Prince2, there is no need to use an alternative approach, because Prince2 Agile builds on the investment you have already made. Okay, and I'd like now to open up for some questions, please.
Thanks, Alan. First question says, has Prince2 Agile been designed as an acceptance that Prince2 is not an effective project management methodology? Can Prince2 not meet the benefits stated?
Prince2 Agile is purely Prince2 configured for an Agile environment. And the reason we built the actual product was because we had a lot of our Prince2 practitioners who were then going into Agile environments. So we got lots and lots of emails from various people within our ecosystem. And they said, right, we need to actually do something about this. And that's what Prince2 Agile became. And in essence, it's an extension module. And without Prince2, there wouldn't be any Prince2 Agile.
Thanks, Alan. Next question says, change management and MSP practitioner here. I don't have a Prince2 or Agile qualification, although a lot of our projects use Agile methodology. What would you recommend the next step in training should be beyond MSP in change management?
Well, if the organization is moving into Agile, I think what they should do is do Prince2 Agile Foundation and then the practitioner, because you'll have the level of understanding of Prince 2. I'm assuming he's done Prince 2. So you'll be able to, but it's best to do the Prince 2.
He doesn't have Prince 2.
Well, I'll have to do Prince 2. I'll have to do Prince 2 first and get the understanding of maybe do Prince 2 Foundation, and then have the option of either doing Prince 2 Agile Practitioner or Prince 2 Practitioner. My view is, to make it simpler, is to do Prince 2 and then do Prince 2 Agile. Because you get used to the way the projects are run and the governance and structure that goes with it.
Thanks, Alan. Those are the questions we have for now. So if you guys have any questions, please pop them through the Q&A. If you think of any after today's webinar, feel free to send them through. Don't forget to check out the resources section, and if you have any questions on those as well, please send them through. We've also got a lot of Agile content, Agile project management content on the website, blogs and other white papers that you'd find interesting. And if you have any questions, as always, please get in touch with us and a member of our team will get back to you. And that's it. We also have in the survey section, there's a box asking if you'd like a member of our team to get in touch if you want to find out more. So just pop your email there, and then Alan will be in contact.
Will do.
And thanks everyone for tuning in today. Keep an eye on our upcoming webinars, which will probably kick off again in January. And thanks everyone. Enjoy the rest of the day.
Thanks everyone for listening. Appreciate that.